What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome back to Zero Thoughts. In this episode, we're going to be talking about stereotypes and my thoughts and opinions on them. So first of all, we can all agree that stereotypes do exist. They're this mental construct, a preconceived notion about a group of people based on limited information. And they are often received very negatively by people. Stereotypes have this connotation that they're an awful thing, that they shouldn't exist, that we should approach every single person neutrally. Now, before you crucify me, I'm going to say that I actually disagree with that, and I don't think stereotypes are inherently bad. They can be bad, but they're not inherently bad, and give me some time to explain. So, first of all, I think of a stereotype as a sort of probability. It's given a small amount of information and some data or some history or some information about those particular traits, making a guess about that particular person based on what you know about them. So it's acknowledging that there's a limited amount of information, and actually, you know what, I'll just start off with an example. So depending on what aspects of my person you looked at, you might have totally different perceptions of me based on stereotypes. So in high school, I had a very, very diverse set of interests. I'm just going to give a couple examples. So first of all, if you looked at me and you only saw that, oh, I played football and basketball, you'd probably think I was a jock. You might not think I'm that smart because stereotypically athletes aren't the smartest. If you looked at me as, oh, he's a member of the math team and he's on the science Olympiad team, well, you'd think I'm a super nerd. I'm probably not good at sports, probably pretty shy, maybe even a little socially awkward because it's a stereotype, but you might think I wear glasses or something like that. And then you might look at me and say, oh, he loves video games and he likes anime. He's probably a total otaku or something like that. And so there are these very different aspects of me that can't possibly be represented by any subset of my interests. So that's where I think the preconceived negative notion of stereotypes comes from. That people are often judged based off of these stereotypes that are based on limited information. However, I don't think the stereotypes themselves are inherently bad because it's just a probability. It's just looking at a person and saying they're likely to be this way based on this limited information I have. What I think is really the bad part is, like I've mentioned before, not being open-minded. It's one thing to say, okay, he likes basketball, he plays football, hangs out with the football players. He might not be that smart because that's the stereotype associated with them based on historical data, which I don't know if it exists or not, but it's been passed on throughout history. So you might come into talking to me thinking that, but it's not bad to go in with that expectation or that preconceived thought based on those probabilities. What I think is bad is going in and not being open to the possibility of that person being smart. Being closed-minded, only accepting the possibilities based on the stereotypes. Limiting your perception of a person based on a small amount of information about them is the crucial error here, not the stereotypes themselves. Now, certain stereotypes can be offensive, and I understand that. There are a lot of stereotypes that would hurt a lot of people if known or enforced, and people don't want to be looked at just in terms of their stereotypes because, like I've said before, each person is a culmination of all of their talents, weaknesses, interests, a whole bunch of things. And each person is unique. And like I said, any subset of those things would be a false representation of that person. So when looking at a person, I encourage you guys to stay open-minded. And I'm going to tell you that it's okay. It's okay to have a preconceived notion about a person. I don't think it's bad to have an idea of what to expect from this person based on what you can observe. As long as, and this is the most important part, as long as you acknowledge that that's a very small subset of that person, and that might not even be true about that person. You need to keep your mind open when dealing with people, because people are very complex, and you cannot simplify them to the stereotypes of the subsets of their person. And that's all I've got for you guys today. Stereotypes themselves, I don't think are bad. I think it's the closed-mindedness that results from a lot of stereotypes that's the true evil. And so let me know what you guys think about stereotypes, whether it's the closed-mindedness or the stereotypes themselves. Feedback, questions, leave it all in the comments or on Skype. I love talking with you guys, and I look forward to hearing from you. But until then, this has been Midnight Zero, and this mission is complete.